Ministers have said that they'll take time to study the findings of a report which has warned about worrying levels of segregation in some ethnic communities in the UK. Dame Louise Casey criticised public bodies for failing to confront the problems for fear of being labelled racist or Islamophobic. Our religious affairs correspondent Martin Bashir reports on the latest concerns about the pace of integration.
If diversity was the goal of Britain's multicultural project, then today's report concludes the result has been division. Segmented racial groups who rarely interact.
Do you feel part of this community here?
Yeah. No. Like aliens? You know what I mean? It's worse now than it ever was. Like, honestly, they are racist, yeah.
Do you feel like there's two sets of communities going on?
Yeah.
Everybody likes to stay in their own community with their own minority, you know, what country the parents come from and everything.
While Dame Louise Casey describes several polarised communities, like this one here in East London, she also accepts that the failure to integrate has been decades in the making. And for many Muslims, this can be traced back to what they saw as one of the most notorious episodes of blasphemy in Britain. Almost 30 years ago, I reported from Bradford following the publication of the Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie. Even British-born second-generation Muslims reacted with fury.
I know a couple of my friends, they thought, their parents were, they were old-fashioned minded, right? They came from back home, they had a different thinking. Now, this Rushdie affair, they were the first people to speak out on this. They were, quite extreme on this subject. And now that we have realised that our parents are right.
As Muslims in some communities turned inward, Britain turned away, allowing many to establish their own cultural practices in parallel with the majority. One Muslim Member of Parliament says there's been failure on both sides.
I think we've been very soft-headed because we didn't want to cause offence. And I think the time has come, and this report has shown that in some communities nothing has happened over the last 30, 40 years on issues such as learning English or even people going out and being able to secure work.
3 decades after the Satanic Verses, Dame Louise Casey says it's time to be true to British values.
I mean, I have found in a number of religious communities some of the equalities issues that I would have a problem with. I've seen much more in the Muslim community that causes me concern, in part because there are 2.8 million Muslims that live in our country. That's fantastic, it's wonderful, but we must make sure that all of the people in those communities enjoy the same opportunities that everybody else enjoys in this country.
So, while other faiths are mentioned, the Casey report says that Muslims will benefit the most from greater integration, and that doing nothing will not only further undermine social cohesion, but also make those separate communities fertile ground for right-wing and Islamist extremism. Martin Bashir, BBC News.
The